We have yet another of the most unlikely states to see gay marriage fall this week. Quote, on Friday, Judge Chris Piazza found Arkansas's marriage laws discriminate against same-sex couples in violation of the Equal Protection Clause because they do not advance any conceivable legitimate state interest necessary to support even a rational basis review. So in other words, he's saying, you cannot ban gay marriage because it violates the Constitution, so get over it. We are now going to allow gay marriage. Now, his decision opened the way for couples to start marrying immediately. However, it's a virtual guarantee that a stay may be put on his decision soon, so it'll go through the appeals process like is happening in a whole bunch of other states right now as well. But this is even more evidence that points to the conclusion, which we've been talking about for a while, which is that the tides have almost fully turned on this issue. I mean, look at the polling data. The polling data says it all. What is it? 59% of the American people? 59% say, yeah, I'm in favor of gay marriage. It's fine. Yeah, no big deal. Whatever. Meanwhile, if you go back, just look at the polls from like the 1990s. In the 1990s, it was hovering around like 30-some-odd%. It wasn't even on the radar in the 1990s. And then I guess people started thinking about it. You started realizing that, hey, some of the people you love on TV and watch all the time, they say, hey, I'm gay. It is what it is. I'm just like everybody else. Whatever, man. Get over it. And people go, oh, okay. Maybe they should get married. Why are we holding back rights from these guys? Why are we saying that they can't have the same protection under tax law and under Social Security and inheritance and all that stuff? That doesn't seem to make much sense. Seems like we're kind of being douchebags when we do that. So Arkansas, I mean, who would have thought that fucking Arkansas of all places? Now, again, it came from a court decision, so it's a little different from having some sort of a ballot referendum or initiative. But either way, you get the same desired result at the end, assuming that upon the appeals, the decision is upheld. So reading this story, it really put me over the edge earlier. I mean, I've been arguing this for a while now, but it's gotten to the point where now I'm just fed up. And my point is this. The time has come for the Democrats on a national level to do what I call a legislative blitzkrieg. You know what that is? I mean, the Republicans do legislative blitzkriegs all the time for shit that they know they're not even going to get through. Okay, like they did it with Obamacare. 50 attempts to repeal Obamacare when they didn't even have the Senate and they didn't have the presidency. So it had a 0% chance of getting through the Senate, and then even if it did, which it wouldn't, then President Obama would immediately veto the bill that would repeal his own signature law. It's obvious, but they still did it 50 times. Now, how much of that is symbolic and how much of that is just people being idiots? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But either way, the end result was the same. It was a legislative blitzkrieg. And when you're so irrational and you're pushing for something, when you know that there's going to be opposition to it, eventually it's the old saying that you shoot for the stars, you might get to the moon. You know, if you make so many ridiculous demands, then the Democrats eventually go, all right, we're not going to give you that, but what concessions do you want for economic policy, for example? What do you want? 98% of the Bush tax cuts, 95% of the Bush tax cuts made permanent? Done. Boom. Now please stop hitting us over Obamacare. But the Democrats never steal that trick. They never do a legislative blitzkrieg. See, here's the part of this that pisses me off the most. History on this is going to be settled. The history on this issue is going to be very black and white. So, for example, like when we look back on the civil rights era, the history is black and white, literally. But the history is either you were on the right side or the wrong side. There were the asshole sheriffs in Alabama who sicked the dogs on the people protesting for equal rights, and then there were the people who were fighting for equal rights. So the Alabama police were wrong, racist, idiot pricks, and everybody else marching, they were the heroes, you know? Well, it's going to be the same thing in the gay rights movement. The people pushing for it are the heroes. The people who are against it are the assholes. It's a fact of reality, and I guarantee you this is how it's going to play out. This is how the tides of history are turning, and by the way, that's how it should be. We all know what's right. We all know what's just. But the problem is that the Democrats, they haven't gotten that in their heads yet. To them, it's still a debatable issue. Well, yeah, I'm in favor of gay marriage, but I'm open to disagreement. I understand people have some Christian values. That's not a fucking argument. People had Christian arguments in favor of slavery. People had Christian arguments in favor of banning interracial marriage. That's not an argument. You don't need to, I respect religious freedom. It's not a religious freedom issue. It's a constitutional rights issue. So it just drives me crazy that the Democrats don't say, you know what, fuck it. We're going to throw caution to the wind and we're going to propose for however many times they tried to repeal Obamacare, we're going to do it one more to try to get gay marriage on a federal level through law. So what do? You go up to John Boehner, you say, here's our law to legalize gay marriage at a federal level. Allow us to vote on it. If you don't, you're circumventing democracy. Guess what? If you don't allow us to vote on it, we're going to all call press conferences. President Obama's going to come out and talk about it and say that the Republicans don't believe in democracy. They're fascists. They're tyrants. They want to get their way, even if 59% of the American people disagree with them. And we're going to hammer you in the media until we win the next election. And guess what Boehner's going to do? He's going to block it. But then you know what you do? You do it again. You propose it again. And then you come out there and you give speeches. You give speeches, you talk to the media, you do interviews, you go around and you say, look, I don't know why the Republicans hate democracy. I don't know why they hate the American people. I love the American people. That's why I agree with 59% of them, and we want to get gay marriage on a federal level because it's equal rights for all. So we're just saying allow a vote. Just give us an up or down vote, and we'll see what happens. And you keep on proposing it, and then the story in the media is going to be, why won't the Republicans allow a vote on it? Why are they getting in the way of democracy? Why don't they agree with the American people? And you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over until finally people go, stop fucking blocking history. We all know you're wrong. We all know that the history books are going to laugh at you idiots. Let us vote on it. Let us get these equal rights through. But they don't do that. They don't do that because they're punk bitches and they're weak. And it's so fucking sad, man. They're waffly, they go back and forth. I respect your disagreement on the issue. Fuck that. You don't respect disagreement on an issue that's black and white and clear as day, that one side is right and the other side is wrong. This isn't an argument over the proper tax rate, okay? This isn't an argument of, well, I prefer 20%. Well, I prefer 25%. No, this is one where it's a black and white issue. One side wants to keep rights from a certain group of people because they're douchebags, and the other side doesn't. Would you fucking portray it as what it is? And then, by the way, if you do that, the history books are going to look at you like heroes. Don't you want to be a hero? Or do you want to continue to be a fucking moron who can't delineate what's going to happen in the future? You can't make a prediction. You can't look at the polls because you're too fucking concerned about not pissing off the Republicans today. So pathetic.